Budget airline shake-up. Carrier abandons 3 cities permanently and reduces routes elsewhere. The airline industry has always been volatile, subject to rising fuel costs, fluctuating demand, labor disputes, and shifting consumer preferences. But the latest announcement from one of Europe's most recognized low-cost airlines has sent shockwaves through both the travel industry and the customers who rely on affordable flights to connect them to their destinations. As the carrier confirmed, it will permanently exit 3 cities while also cutting back on services across several others. A move that raises questions about the long-term future of budget travel and what this means for passengers already feeling the pinch of higher prices in an inflation-driven economy. And for the Report Zone audience, this story reflects more than just corporate restructuring. It is about the ripple effect such decisions have on ordinary travelers, tourism industries, and regional economies that depend heavily on budget airlines to keep their communities connected. According to reports, the airline has cited unsustainable operating costs and limited profitability in certain markets as the primary reasons for abandoning the 3 cities forever, signaling that even low-cost models are not immune to the pressures of rising airport fees, staff shortages, and global economic uncertainty. And while the company has not revealed all of the internal calculations that led to this decision, industry experts point out that airlines are increasingly making strategic choices to consolidate operations in high-demand hubs rather than maintaining smaller, less profitable bases, a trend that has been accelerated by the post-pandemic recovery, where airlines are still struggling to return to full financial stability after years of disruption. The cuts, however, will not only affect the 3 cities being permanently removed from the carrier's network, but will also impact passengers in other regions where flight frequencies are being reduced, leading to fewer options, higher ticket prices, and in some cases, the complete loss of direct connections that many customers had come to rely on for affordable travel. And critics argue that this undermines the very premise of budget airlines, which rose to popularity by democratizing air travel and making it accessible to millions who could not previously afford to fly regularly, raising concerns that the era of cheap flights may be coming to an end. From a consumer perspective, the reaction has been one of frustration and disappointment, with many travelers taking to social media to express their anger over cancelled routes, lost convenience, and the difficulty of finding alternatives at the same price point, while travel industry insiders note that this may be just the beginning of a wider trend where budget carriers recalibrate their networks to focus on fewer, more profitable routes, leaving behind secondary markets that do not generate enough revenue. And the social implications are significant as tourism boards, local businesses, and even universities that rely on international student mobility may feel the strain of reduced accessibility, ultimately weakening the economic lifeline that cheap flights provide. Politically, the development is also noteworthy as governments across Europe have been increasingly debating the environmental impact of aviation and whether the era of ultra-low-cost flights should be curtailed in favor of more sustainable travel options. And while environmental campaigners may welcome the reduction of routes as a small step towards cutting carbon emissions, communities losing their connections will undoubtedly feel abandoned, creating a tension between sustainability goals and regional development needs. And for the airline itself, the decision may safeguard profitability but at the expense of public goodwill, which could have long-term brand consequences. In the wider context of aviation history, this shift represents another reminder of how cyclical and fragile the airline industry can be, with decades of boom and bust cycles showing that carriers, especially budget airlines, must constantly adapt or risk collapse. And passengers who grew accustomed to ultra-cheap fares may now face a harsher reality where limited options and rising costs define the travel landscape. A reality that could reshape how people plan holidays, business trips, and even family visits across borders. Ultimately, the departure of a low-cost airline from 3 cities forever, combined with reductions elsewhere, is more than a corporate restructuring announcement. It is a pivotal moment in the ongoing story of modern air travel, highlighting the challenges of balancing affordability, sustainability, and profitability, and reminding us that while budget airlines once revolutionized the way we travel, Even they are not invincible in the face of global pressures, leaving the future of cheap flights more uncertain than ever. Thank you.